Of all the possible names tied to Auburn to be the next head coach, I think you can make the argument for some over others that could impact recruiting.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, that is Locked On's Recruiting, NIL, Transfer Portal Show, hanging out with us as he does each and every week. Brian, we'll talk about how Deuce Knight needs to start on Saturday, as well as other things we need to see from the Auburn Tigers against Mercer. But of all these potential candidates to be Auburn's next head coach, I've said it pretty consistently. There are major pros and major negatives for each and every one of them. As far as it would go to impress you, both from a football prowess standpoint as well as a recruiting standpoint, who would you kind of put on that short list of guys that's like, yeah, this guy's realistic and he checks a lot of the boxes that could help Auburn succeed?
Brohm.
Yeah. So a lot of people like Brohm, of course, the head coach at Louisville right now. He's kind of worked his way up. He fits some of my criteria. Like, I don't think he's ever been fired before. I want a head coach that's ever been fired anywhere else. He's been consistent in working his way up. He's a quarterback guy, which I think Auburn folks are definitely desperate for. Could you bring in a guy like Brohm and keep DJ Durkin on staff to help with player retention? I think so. I think that would make sense. The big question is, would Brohm be interested in Auburn?
It's his alma mater, but no offense to Louisville. They're signing 30 players a year in the portal. You know why they're signing 30 players in the year? Because they can't get the kids they want out of high school. There's no nice way.
The guys who do well at Louisville leave to go play elsewhere.
Yeah, or they don't even go there in the first place. They put a ton of money into recruiting Georgia, Alabama, Florida, etc., but they're in Northern Kentucky. It's just not an easy sell, man. And it's a basketball school.
Right.
Just happens to be his alma mater.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's kind of been the underrated candidate. When you look into like what he's been able to do offensively, it's like, yeah, okay. Like he made Purdue pretty relevant.
He's a tremendous passing game coach, which, by the way, I'm sure makes Auburn people very happy. But
I can't imagine what that would feel like. Yeah.
Can you imagine it's proven with what he did. If you want any credit for like what he's done, go watch the first half of Louisville at Miami this year. Coaching clinic. He cleaned Miami's clock. And they don't have half the talent Miami does.
Right.
Imagine what he could do with Auburn's talent. He's got one receiver that Auburn, like he's a dude. He's got a chance to be first round, but everybody else, they're okay. Quarterbacks, okay.
Yeah, I talked with Spencer McLaughlin yesterday of Locked On College Football, and he said, yeah, he made Tyler Shook a second round draft pick in the NFL.
And nobody thought he was going to get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And he went in 1 year, he became a second rounder.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys who kind of floated around the portal, and then Brohm got a hold of him, and it's like, yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, I do wonder the recruiting prowess of it all with Brohm, like not from the area, but I've been pretty consistent with saying, like, I don't think I care as much about the recruiting acumen of whoever Auburn hires, because I think Auburn's going to be able to bring guys in regardless, and I think that whoever can come in can hire guys that can recruit. I think the NIL aspect of it makes that less important than it used to be, because I think Auburn's floor in that regard is higher than a lot of the people that they'll have to recruit against. Not all, but a lot. Am I off on that?
No, like Auburn's a top 20 program in recruiting, even with a bad head coach. So yeah, you're 100% correct.
Yeah. Who else is on your short list of guys who say like, okay, wow, this moves the needle for me?
Eli Drinkwitz, because he's just such a good game day coach. Like, no offense to Missouri. I've got family ties to that school, but they've always sucked.
Until he got there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they had that one run. Forget what it was. They had that mobile quarterback, but for a short stint. They're relevant now, offensively, defensively. Like, the way their D-line plays, that looks like a top-end SEC. Missouri?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Eli Drinkwitz is number 2 on my list. A lot of Auburn fans disagree with me, which is fine. There's arguments for and against all of these people. None of them are like a surefire 100%. I'm not acting like they are. But Eli is number 2 on my list, only to Kenny Dillingham. And I don't know how realistic Kenny Dillingham even is.
Yeah, I'll comment about Kenny here in a minute. But like Eli has taken the basic ingredients and given you a gourmet meal. I'm sorry, that's just not what we're seeing across the SEC right now.
What do you say though to like his record against SEC teams that finish with a winning record in conference play? It's abysmal. What do you say to that?
I get that. Like they're close. Their offense doesn't have a quarterback that's like who have they had at quarterback there that you go, okay, he can go get you games.
Brady Cook, I guess, is his best QB, right?
And that is, he's a Jag plus. So, he's just a guy. What would he be able to do with Deuce Knight? It's the same thing. You got to take the material and look at what you would be combining it with.
Yeah.
No offense to Missouri. That's harder place to win than Auburn because of the location. That state has decent talent, but it's also not next to Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee.
Right.
It's a different deal. So I think the Auburn job's a lot better job.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious what salary would be in that situation. Is Auburn ready to pony up to, pay him?
That would be a very expensive one.
Yeah. That's something that I've heard from folks within that's a discussion of like the money thing is easier with other options than it would be with Drinkwitz.
Do you mean just the per year or how many years? The how many years is my concern with a lot of
stuff. I didn't ask. I assumed per year.
The reason I say it is look at LSU. I'll just use them as a microcosm. Kelly's contract was guaranteed for what, 10 or what? Not just Auburn. All these schools have to find a way, come hell or high water, to get away from 10-year contracts. It's just not healthy. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
But we understand it's a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
Even Kiffin, if he goes to LSU, 10 years is a terrible idea.
Yeah. I mean, the game's going to change. It's going to be a different game in 3 years.
That's what I mean.
Let alone 10.
You're giving away all leverage.
Right.
It's just there's got to be more clauses or something, but I don't know.
But everybody's willing to. No, I'll be the one to undercut the market because I want the head coach. It'll happen. I mean, it's just going to happen. So, curious to see if Auburn will pony up that because of what he'd have to pay Mizzou as well as what we're already paying other coaches. I'm curious to see if that comes into play. I hope. I mean, I kind of went into this, and the way John Cohen's talked about it is like Auburn's willing to spend whatever it takes. It's kind of the feeling that I've gotten. So I was a little surprised with that note that I was given on that. But right now, I'm not making that big of a deal out of it because it does seem like Auburn wants to spend money to win.
I think they know they don't have any choice with their fan base and their.
It's cheaper to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, in the long run, it's not
for your guy.
Yeah,
just pay a buyout every 3 years.
100%. So that's the other way to look at it too. Yeah. Make sure you get a real coach because otherwise you're just going to lose.
100%. 100%. Deuce Knight needs to start on Saturday. I think Auburn's just playing games. Let's jump into that in just a moment. Right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. We got 2 football lines today, folks. Auburn, a 27.5-point favorite against Mercer, 4 touchdowns. Does Auburn win by more than 4 touchdowns? If you say yes, head over to FanDuel. Also, Auburn just a 5.5-point dog at home in the Iron Bowl the following week. The line, it's fascinating to me. It's absolutely closer than everybody drew it up, and I think that is something that should excite you. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets for when your first $5 bet wins. So head over to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, hanging out with us today. I know you agree with me here. Deuce Knight needs to start. They made the announcement that Ashton Daniels is going to sit out. the assumption is Deuce Knight is going to start, but all we got from Durkin so far is, well, Deuce Knight and Jackson Arnold are both going to play. We didn't get any sort of nod as far as who would start. And like my instant reaction show that I did to that press conference was like, I have a hard time seeing Jackson coming in as a backup to Deuce. But the more I think about it, Brian, there's no way you can't start Deuce Knight on Saturday.
I'm not a college football coach, but I try to use logic as much as I can.
Sure.
Jackson probably knows it's best to move on. I'm just going to say the awkward part out loud. Why does he even want to play? I'm being honest.
Like, what can he prove?
Yeah, like it's Mercer.
That's probably like, I want to prove that like I can do it when I'm not under Hugh Freeze, because I mean we all saw what Ashton Daniels just did.
Sure. That's fair. But he's not going to play. He's not going to.
It's still going to be added with. Yeah, but it was against Mercer.
That's what I mean, because he's not going to get that chance, barring an injury to Ashton. He's not going to be the starter against Bama.
Hope not. Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and say this too. If he goes out and he's the starter against Mercer and he plays great, and then they start him against Bama because of that, that's ignorant.
I don't think that's a scenario that'll happen.
I don't either, but I've seen very odd things happen in college football, and I'm just making the declaration. I think you should start Deuce for two reasons. Number one, he needs to see what it's like and go through all that for the season. And then secondarily, he could be your starter next year. You need to know as a coaching staff, like, okay, we've seen it in practice, but now he's actually getting hit. How does he react after he gets hit? There's no other way to do that. You have to play him in games, because you're not allowed to get near Deuce in a practice. You'll get thrown out. It's just how it is with quarterbacks. He has to get hit.
Yeah. Yes. And I've said this throughout the last 2 weeks, like him being good against Mercer doesn't prove that he would be the guy.
Right.
But him being bad against Mercer could prove that he's not the guy.
That means his off season's more important, and then everything's up in the air. I mean, it would be him and Ashton competing, I assume. Again, I'm calling it now. I don't know if you said this on your channel.
No, go ahead.
If Jackson Arnold's back next year, I'll be surprised. Do you disagree with that?
I've said the same thing.
Okay. So
I still think you have to get a quarterback though in the portal, especially if Jackson leaves.
There's going to be somebody they can get that's played somewhere.
I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this. Peyton Falzone, have you seen the Syracuse stuff with him?
Yeah, there's some
smoke there.
Yeah.
You think there's fire?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So like, let's assume worst case scenario, right? Like, let's say Ashton's coming back. Let's say Deuce is coming back, which isn't worst case scenario, but I do think it's the most likely one. And then Jackson's gone. And let's say Falzone flips. Do you add a high school quarterback in the last second?
How can you do
and
that?
You get a portal guy?
How are you going to add a high school guy, though?
I don't know.
Without a head coach? Signing, for people that don't know, National Signing Day is 4 days after the Iron Bowl.
Brian, I think if we get to the Monday after the Iron Bowl without a head coach, I would be shocked.
Well, I know, but then you would have 2 days before kids sign. That's not exactly a good recruiting process.
I think you hope that maybe if the guy you get has a quarterback committed.
I'll spell it for everybody. You're going to steal the coach and the recruit from that school. That happens. Zach is absolutely onto something there.
I mean, we saw it at a smaller level, like when Hank Brown was committed to Liberty and he followed Freeze.
Oh, that's true.
Like that does happen.
100%.
And you don't need the guy to be a starter. You need a freshman body, like to run practice. Like you need that.
For people that don't know, you need literally live arms so your main quarterback isn't killing his arm in practice. It's a thing. It's a thing in 7-on-7 even. So I can only imagine a college program.
Yeah. So like I do think you have to find a way to get a high school quarterback, or can you get a redshirt freshman in the portal? And then I also think you need a veteran to come in and compete.
Ideally, you always have 4 quarterbacks on your roster, one of which is probably just practice guy. So if that's the way you get there this year, that's fine. And then after that, you go back to taking 1 quarterback a year for the prep ranks. That's it. Yeah,
because next year you have Ashton or Deuce. And if it's Deuce, you've got him for 2 years. And that gives you enough time to get a timeline going. a schedule with your quarterbacks.
To be clear, the best scenario is Deuce is your starter at some point next year. But if Ashton beats him out early on, it is what it is, but eventually Deuce is your guy.
You need that for sure. And so why not start him? Because what's one name we didn't say during any of that? Jackson Arnold.
Yeah,
what are we doing? I hadn't really thought about like, why would Jackson want to play? That was an interesting question. I don't have a great answer for.
Because the only thing he can do is get injured, really. Seriously.
Yeah, like what if, I mean, his whole thing seems to be like processing. And so if it's something where he's got to process, obviously the game moves a little bit slower against Mercer than it does Oklahoma, right? But you still, like, his issue is processing. And we saw that against Ball State. I tried to downplay it. I was wrong. But, like, the processing still wasn't really there. So, like, I think there's a chance he even hurts his stock even more. Because at least right now he can blame Hugh Freeze. You can say, oh, my goodness, the offense at Oklahoma with him last year stunk. And then everybody was worse with Hugh Freeze. And then when Hugh Freeze went away, all these other guys got good. I never got that chance. I think you at least have that argument right now.
I think it's legitimate. But
hey, thanks.
The point is, again, Mercer, like, you're not impressing anybody putting up 35 on them or something, and nobody cares. So,
I can't get over like how deep and raspy your voice is right now.
Well, thank you to the cold that I have. So it's terrible.
Scale of 1 to 10, how good are you feeling right now?
3.
Okay.
I'll go 3.
Thanks for powering through for this. I really appreciate it. What else do we want to see from Auburn against Mercer and for the rest of the season? That's next right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. We love Kias here. You can check out any of their, brand new Kia Sorrentos. They're running deals on several new Kias. You can check it out at KiaAutosportColumbus.com or go and check them out in person. They're right in Columbus, Georgia, right off of Whittlesey Boulevard. You can't miss our friends at Kia Autosport Columbus. Mention the show, mention Locked on Auburn, you get $500 off any new Kia. And of course, with any new Kia purchase, you get tires for life. Go check them out, KiaAutosportColumbus.com, or once again, right off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia. Thank you so much for making Locked on Auburn your first listen every single day. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, hanging out with us as he does each and every week. Other things that I want to see from Auburn against Mercer, some of those are strategic and some of those I think is a little bit of a vanity thing. I'll start with the vanity thing. I want them to give Jeremiah Cobb the ball a ton. He's third in the SEC in rushing, I believe. He's like 87 yards shy of getting 1,000 yards. I would like to see I would like to see him put up stats against Mercer because I think the guy deserves it.
I think he's one of the most, if not the most underrated running back in the country. Auburn's schedule is not the easiest, not the hardest in the SEC, but when was the last time you watched SEC Network or ESPN or Fox or anybody? And I don't remember his name coming up ever.
No, I'm with you.
None. He's good. He runs away from guys. He's only about like 130 yards away from Jeremiah Love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's fourth, and I was wrong. He was fourth in the SEC. I think he was third last week, and Auburn had a bye week. So fourth, he's at 904. Mike Washington of Arkansas is at 913. Keyshawn Lacey at Ole Miss is at 1136, and then Ahmad Hardy killing it at 1346. But I want Jeremiah Cobb to be 1,000-yard rusher. I think that's important. I hope he comes back. I think that would be important as far as him coming back and kind of Auburn's offseason campaign. Offensively, like I think having him be a part of that prestigious group of 1,000-yard rushers, I think is important.
Yeah, he's your tone setter for next year, especially if you transition to Deuce at any point.
Sure,
having a bell cow back that's going to be a senior next fall. Plus, he's a Montgomery guy. I mean, all of that is a positive, and I think he probably could be used more in the passing game too, because he's twitchy as all get out. So
yeah. And then another thing that I think is important for Auburn is get the ball to Cam Coleman, and then once you're done doing that, get the ball to Cam Coleman some more, and then once you're done doing that, get the ball to Cam Coleman some more. Show Cam Coleman like we are doing everything we can. Sorry you didn't get the ball enough. That wasn't our fault. That was the other guy's fault.
Hmm.
And we are going to make sure that you get the ball over and over and over again. I don't care that it's against Mercer.
I totally disagree with that last part, but
Okay.
I don't want Cam to play beyond the second drive against Mercer.
Okay.
I don't want his finger
For health purposes.
100%.
Yeah. Which he's been battling stuff this year. So not a bad point.
But I get what you're saying. You just got to tell him that against Bama's elite DB group, and they are really good.
Yeah, they're good.
We're going to focus on finding new ways to get you the ball that the last guy that was here, whose name shall not be referenced until much, much later, we're going to find a way to get you the ball, not just go routes and hitches.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been shown for what he's capable of doing. Like they don't.
I mean, we saw it last week against Vandy. I mean,
Finally,
that offensive game plan was incredible.
But it was different, way different.
Yeah. Right.
So against Bama, whatever they have in their bag, I want it for Bama. I think whoever your third string running back is in the third quarter should have 80 yards at the end of the game. No offense to Mercer. That's fine. Grind it out. Cam gets one spectacular TD in the first quarter, and then he could stand next to you on the sidelines. That's how I would look at it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, and let Omar Mabson have a second half. I don't have an issue with that.
By the way, for folks that haven't seen him live, I saw him in high school. That is an animal. He's going to be really good in Auburn uniform.
Yeah, he's got more burst than I thought he would.
His legs are the size of trees.
Yeah, so you instantly think like bruiser, right?
He could make the first guy miss them. That's still important. You can only take so many.
Yeah, he's got more wiggle than I thought he did, which has been great. Which has been great. Also, good opportunity to get Darrell Robinson back in if you want to give him some touches as
100%.
well. So we'll see how they handle all of that. Brian Smith, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Check it out on the Portal podcast. There's been a lot of recruiting stuff going on with the class of 27 here lately. Talked about tight end recruiting today. Going to be breaking down all the positions. We're only a couple of weeks from signing day. Check out the Portal podcast, all the same places you check out Locked on Auburn.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.